Colts football is brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Welcome back to Lucas Oil Stadium. The roof is open here tonight, and let's go to the field with Jeffrey Gorman for a Toyota sideline report.
Thank you, Don Fisher. We heard Mark Herman talk about it earlier. Big plays for the offense. Those big plays will start on the offensive line. A bit of some musical chairs. Ryan Dean playing some of the guard position. Hamilton Southeastern's own Joe Wrights will definitely be in the mix tonight. They're trying to find the 5 best offensive linemen any which way they can. There's a big fight going on to find those 5. Back to you, Fish.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate it. We'll be talking to Jeffrey throughout the evening on the sidelines with the Indianapolis Colts. We understand you need a winning game plan. FedEx delivers the game ball for the Indianapolis Colts as the Colts are about to take the field. Well, Mark, as we get ready for tonight's contest, we talked at the outset about the improvement that the Colts hope to see tonight. Nobody wants to see that more than Jim Caldwell.
No question, Fish. Your first preseason game, it gives you a lot of coaching points, a lot of things for his staff to go over, fine-tune some things. You just want to see improvement week in and week out. They have a plan for how this preseason is going to proceed, and it's all about getting ready for that opener. And this team likes to see a lot of guys on the field. They like to build that depth and get guys experience. The starters went very little. As you mentioned, we expect to see those guys a little more, maybe into the latter part of the first quarter, into the second quarter.
Last week, of course, the Colts struggled a little bit, but a part of that was the young guys playing against the first-teamers for St. Louis because the Rams used their starters well into the second quarter.
Yeah, the Rams definitely wanted to come out of there with a win. They gave their starters a good look, and the Colts' young players hung in there pretty well, but were unable to keep the Rams out of the end zone.
Well, Pat McAfee will kick off for Indianapolis. Terrence Austin is the deep man in the end zone. He'll field it about 9 yards deep and put the knee down. It'll be a touchback, and we're probably going to see a lot more of that this year, Mark. As we, of course, told you last week, they kick off now from the 35-yard line.
Yeah, it's all about safety issues, and the kickers are able to now plant it deep into the end zone. The kickoff coverage teams don't get as much work.
Let's take a look at the Toyota starting lineups brought to you by your Central Indiana Toyota dealers. There you see the offensive backfield for the Washington Redskins. Hightower played very well last week. The offensive line, of course, and now we're ready for the first play from scrimmage tonight. John Beck is the quarterback in this ball game. To start out for the Redskins here this evening, they hand the ball off, and Dwight Freeney comes up immediately and makes a nice stop of the play. Here, of course, we'll continue the lineup start here. John Beck getting his first start. He's a BYU grad in his 3rd season, and I really think Mike Shanahan believes this is the guy to run this team, but Rex Grossman was awfully impressive at his start last week.
Yeah, Rex put up some really good numbers against the Steelers and was totally in control of this Redskins offense. So I expect this to go down to the last preseason game to see who will be the starter.
And they line up with 2 wide receivers to the near side. Again, the handoff. And they give it right up the middle to Hightower, who breaks it back inside, and he's got a huge gain coming as Buffet chases him down and finally brings him down around the 20-yard line. What a run.
Yeah, Hightower was brought over from the Arizona Cardinals, and the Colts have given up a big plays off tackle. As you see Dwight Freeney up the field here as he takes himself out of the play, and then there's no inside support, and he's able to turn the corner and get down the field for a huge play for the Redskins.
That was 58 yards on the run by Tim Hightower, and immediately Washington in great field position on their first drive of the ball game. 1st and 10 at the Colts 20-yard line. Hightower lines up as the running back once again. And now Beck goes to work, looking to throw. And right over the middle, down to the 1-yard line, and a nice catch made by Jabbar Gaffney, who was traded from Denver to Washington, and of course is a prime receiver in this ball club's makeup. Melvin Bullock comes up with a stop, but just shy of the goal line.
Yeah, Santana Moss is kind of number 1 for the Redskins, and they looked for a complimentary guy, and Jabbar Gaffney is the guy here. 2 deep safety. John Beck does a good job of looking away, and then there's just that natural opening near the goal line. So back-to-back big plays here for this Redskins offense.
Sean Drawn is the fullback in front of Tim Hightower, and Beck hands it to Hightower, who tries the middle. And does he take it in or not? We'll wait for the officials to make the signal here. It looked like Pat Anger really got a big pop on him and may have stopped him shy of the goal line.
Yeah, nasty hit here by Pat Anger. That's the way you play linebacker. Wrapped up Hightower, who was no little man at that running back position, and just slammed him to the turf short of the goal line.
Cavell Connor involved there as well. So the Colts hold on the first play of this series. It's 2nd down and goal. Right at the goal line. And Beck this time wants to throw it. Does throw it. And a nice defensive play again by the Colts, and that's Gerard Powers.
Nobody fooled that time on play action at the goal line. The Colts were all hunkered down, but Gerard Powers had excellent discipline there as he maintained his coverage, and Beck was unable to find a throwing lane on the play.
Gerard Powers is really coming into his own as a corner for this Colts ball club.
Well, as you see Gerard Powers back here at the back of the end zone, and he was not fooled in the least on that play. So
Hightower again tries the right side this time, and now they will rule touchdown Washington. So the Colts hold for a couple of plays when they get it down to the goal line, but they couldn't keep them out of the end zone, and Washington gets an early score in the first quarter.
You look here, Redskins just in an I formation, a lead play. Hightower dives in, and an excellent opening drive here for the Washington Redskins. And John Beck certainly showed a very good series that time. He's been coming off a preseason injury. Looked pretty healthy on that possession.
Graham Gano will do the kicking here. He just came, I think, today to Indianapolis after, I believe, his wife having their first child. In fact, he did not make the plane trip yesterday with the ball club. There was a question of whether he was going to come at all, but mom and child apparently doing well, and Graham Gano will kick it here tonight. And the kick in the air is a good one. And the Washington Redskins have immediately come up with a score here on their first possession of the ball game. Take a look at it one more time as Hightower gets it into the end zone, and Washington takes the early lead. Indiana University Health is proud to support the strength of the Indianapolis community through the partnership with the Indianapolis Colts. IU Health Expert Physicians. Nationally ranked care. Discover the strength at iuhealth.org. Well, here at Lucas Oil Stadium, Washington gets off to the kind of start that they are excited about. They go 6 plays, 80 yards. The big play was a 58-yard run by Tim Hightower, and they take it into the end zone on a 1-yard run by Hightower as Graham Gano now kicks off for the Redskins. Devin Moore, the Indianapolis product out of Ritter High School, 8 yards deep, brings it out. And Moore gets upended big time just before he gets to the 15-yard line. Perry Riley came up with the hit from LSU, a second-year player. And again, here is the offensive backfield now for the Colts. Our starting lineups brought to you by Toyota. There's CPR Garcon, who had a big catch last week. And Joe Wrights, the Hamilton Southeastern product, starting in the offensive line at left guard.
Yeah, a little change up in that offensive front. Now rookie Anthony Costanzo gets his first start in a ball game. And as you mentioned, Joe Wrights getting a move in left guard.
Here's Curtis Painter going to work and goes to Dallas Clark. And Clark with a big gainer out at the 20-yard line, gets it almost to the 22. Kieran Fox, the linebacker from Georgia Tech in his 8th year for the Redskins, makes the stop on the play. But a nice pass play.
Yeah, that served two purposes. Great to see Dallas Clark back in the lineup, just a quick little tight end screen. And that's a nice pass for Curtis Painter to get into a little rhythm here, take a little bit of the pressure off, get that first easy completion.
Curtis going to work here on 2nd down and 1. Hands the ball to Joseph Adai, and Adai looking for first down yardage. Has it out to the 25-yard line. About a 2-yard pickup. Rocky McIntosh on the stop. Take a look there at Curtis Painter. Of course, his statistics, 6'4", 230 at 25 years old out of Purdue. You've heard of that school, haven't you, Mark?
Yeah, just a little familiar with that, Don, and certainly Curtis has the size and the arm strength to play the position. And let's hope he gets off to a really good start here in this opening drive and puts a score together.
Colts are working a little short-handed wide receiver-wise tonight, as 3 of the starters are not playing in this ball game. Here's a quick little sideline screen again to Dallas Clark. This time it goes for a few less yards than it did the first time, but it's a gain for about 4. Brian Orpakpo, a linebacker out of Texas, makes the stop for the Skins, and the Colts will have 2nd down and 7.
Well, it just shows you the versatility of Dallas Clark. He's able to line up in the slot, another little quick screen to him, and they want to get him to the football early, get him some good work, and then I'm sure he'll be seated after this drive.
Painter on 2nd down, call it 6, and we got a Redskin that jumps across the line of scrimmage. That was Ryan Kerrigan, the rookie out of Purdue.
78, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Actually, they're going to call it against the Colts, who drew him offside. So that penalty ruled against Indianapolis, and I think Mike Pollock is the guilty party.
And Mike Pollock starting at right guard, and there's been a little work this week with Ryan Deem moving down into that right guard position, and then Ben Ajalana moving into that right tackle slot. So we'll see if we'll see that combination. Another jump here by the interior line.
Colts start, offense, number 76, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
And that's Joe Wrights who makes the mistake there, but he, of course, a rookie. Last week we didn't see hardly any penalties until very late in the ball game.
Yeah, Colts only had 1 penalty the entire ball game, and now have 2 false starts in the first drive of the game.
Now, and back to Ryan Deem's situation, they worked him at guard some this week, as you pointed out, Mark, but they have no intent of playing him at guard tonight just because he still hasn't had enough reps there yet. And he's played some guard in the past, but they don't want to just stick him in there without a proper amount of practice time available to him. There, of course, Dallas Clark getting the pass reception, Rocky McIntosh and D'Angelo Hall on the stop. And let's go to the Citizens Energy Group scoring recap on the first drive of the ball game by Washington. There you see Mike Shanahan in the background, but the Skins take no time in getting their first score of the ball game. The Colts trying to stay alive in this drive now with a 3rd and long as Curtis Painter goes to work once again. Painter directs a little traffic in the backfield. Joseph Adai alongside of him right now. And Curtis fires it downfield, looking out there on the pass play for Chris Brooks, but he threw the pass wide, and it brings up 4th down.
Well, Redskins bring a little extra pressure, and then they ended up double teaming the slot, and that's Chris Brooks, but Curtis Painter tried to fit it in there, but 3rd and long situation. Curtis had to get rid of the football pretty quickly. As you see, a double here on that slot and no room for the completion. So a nice effort there after giving up a 1st down by the Redskins to get the Colts off the field.
Terrence Austin will be back deep to receive this punt from McAfee, who drills this one long and backs up Austin all the way to the 16-yard line. He scampers past one man, gets past another on a broken tackle, and then finds his way up the sideline for a great return for Washington. McAfee, the punter, is the guy who comes up and knocks him out of bounds.
Boy, what a great effort by Terrence Austin. He really great 2nd, 3rd effort to get a big gain on the return.
So, Pat McAfee on the punt. It was a beauty, but a good return by Austin allows Washington great field position when they get possession of the football on a return. Back to Lucas Oil Stadium as we take a look at how many times have the Colts scored more than 500 points in a season. That's our Aflac trivia question for tonight. We'll give you a couple of plays here before we give you the answer, as Washington goes back to work with great field position at their own 45-yard line. And John Beck goes to work. Little sideline scamper pass comes out here in the flat, and it is Darrell Young, the fullback, who makes the catch, breaks a tackle, and then gets himself a 1st down across the 45 of the Colts, where it'll be 1st and 10 at the 44. Melvin Bullard on the stop.
Excellent effort there. It makes Gerard Powers miss, and then just powers forward for a 1st down gain after just a simple pass in the flat, and you'd love to keep that to a 3-yard gain, but an excellent effort by the Washington Redskins fullback.
Antoine Buffet has gone to the sideline with a hamstring injury. Apparently, when he was making the stop on Hightower earlier on that big long run. Here's a pass deflected. John Beck, the quarterback for Washington that time, Couldn't get it past Gary Brackett's outstretched arm, and the Colts will force it is 2nd and 10.
Well, that was a nice play by Brackett because the receiver had a lot of room after the play-action fake, and Brackett was able to get into that throwing lane. And Gary Brackett's just been a terrific leader and playmaker for this Colts defense. Certainly very undersized, but has a big heart and just been counted upon year after year. This is his 9th year after a free agency out of Rutgers University.
2nd down and 10 for Beck and the Skins. This time the handoff and a delay to Hightower, and he gets upended right around the 42-yard line. Good stop by Cavell Connor. It looked like Hightower might make it for a big run.
Yeah, Cavell Connor just came off a block and just kind of stumbled right into Hightower, so that was an excellent athletic move by the young linebacker, as Cavell Connor is really coming into his own in his 2nd year. Had a nice rookie year, was established a little bit after some injuries to the Colts linebacking core, and he's come in and done a nice job.
Anthony Armstrong in the game as a wide receiver. They have 3 in the contest now for Washington. Here's Beck, throws it toward the far sideline. The catch is made, and right there to make the stop is Jacob Lacey from his corner position. But let's take a look at it because I think it's good for a 1st down.
Jacob Lacey playing a little bit off here. The Colts bring a little pressure, and Lacey figuring the ball would come out quickly, but still too much room on the 3rd down play. Redskins are able to convert.
Armstrong making the catch that time for Washington. Now Beck again. Throws a little dump pass out to the sideline to Hightower, and he makes it pay for about 7 yards on the play. So Washington continues to move the football pretty effectively. Pat Angerer in on that stop. Game day is our specialty at O'Charlie's. Stop by before or after the game with your game ticket. Under $8 at O'Charlie's. It'll be 2nd down and 3 now for Washington. They're at the Colts 26-yard line. Hightower is the lone running back behind quarterback John Beck. And Hightower gets the call on a sweep to the right side, and he picks up the 1st down, and then about 4 yards to boot as he takes the ball down to the 20 as Jerry Hughes starts tonight and gets an opportunity to make the stop and does so at the 19.
Well, Tim Hightower has really found a home. He loves Mike Shanahan's offense. It's just about, planting that foot and going, and there's not a lot of moves. It's a zone blocking scheme, and he really feels like he's had a rebirth here after a decent start in his career with the Cardinals, but now he really feels like he can make a difference.
Roy Halou in the backfield now. He gets the call. He finds running room. A flag is down, but he got it down to the 10-yard line before he was hit, and that's almost a 1st down. Cornelius Brown came up with the tackle. Well, let's see what the flag is all about.
Holding, offense, number 13. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 1st down.
Anthony Armstrong, the wide receiver, is guilty of the hold on the play, so that'll negate the nice run that time by Halou, who is a very fine running back and a guy they have great expectations for, a rookie who was drafted in the 4th round out of Nebraska.
Yeah, Anthony Armstrong kind of folded back, and there's a little bit of a block in the back hold combination, and the outside official spotted it, and therefore, everything's negated for the Redskins.
Santana Moss and Gaffney split to the near side, then they throw it to the backfield. Halou once again gets the catch, and he picks up some of the yards lost on that holding call. Gary Brackett makes the stop on the play, and it'll be marked right around the 22-yard line. So it'll be 2nd down at about 13.
Colts normally get a pretty decent drop on their from their linebackers. They really fly out and try to get those intermediate zones covered up. At that time, a much better job of rallying to the football and stop the ball carrier just for a short gain. So now you've got a 2nd and long situation.
Gaffney and Moss split to the near side, Armstrong to the far. Halou is the running back alongside Beck in the Skins backfield. And the toss is made, and Santana Moss has it down to the 10. He's got the 1st down as he carries it near the 7. Jacob Lacey comes up and makes the stop of the play, but again, the pressure on the Colts defense here as they pick up a 1st down at the 7 of Indianapolis.
Very nice read by John Beck, and Santana Moss, they had a perfect route built in against the blitz, and Melvin Bullock came from that safety position, so the big void in the secondary, and the right call at the right time. And you get Santana Moss the football, he's going to do great things with it. Redskins get a first.
There you see the first downs thus far as Washington controls the offensive side of the ball right now. And the handoff to Halou, who tries the left side. Doesn't find much running room that time. Picks up maybe a yard as Anger came up once again from his linebacking post. Second-year player out of Iowa has really made a name for himself with this Colts defense.
Yeah, and he's so versatile. He can play inside or can play the outside position, so he's got a lot of value, and he just has a great nose for the football. He was leading tackler at Iowa for a number of years, and Bill Poley and his staff just really like the young linebacker from Iowa.
Second and goal at the 6. Here's Halou in motion, back under center. And a quick drop, and he's in trouble. And the Colts pressure this time is there to sack it. And Antonio Johnson comes up and makes a good defensive play for Indianapolis. A lot of pressure put on by Mathis that time as well.
Well, and watch Dwight Freeney. If we get another look at this, just a big-time power rush over left tackle Trent Williams. So that's just, as we see Freeney here, just unload and just send the tackle right into Beck's lap. So outstanding effort by 93.
Now it's third and goal from the 15-yard line. And Beck will work out of the shotgun. Halou is alongside him in the backfield. Here's an inside handoff to Halou. He breaks it outside, gets it down to the 10, but the Colts defense puts him down there. And it looks like Indianapolis has survived this series from Washington, and a field goal try will be upcoming.
Well, the sack was definitely the big play of that series, and will hold the Redskins to a field goal opportunity. So much better than giving up another score as far as a touchdown. So a nice job certainly by Dwight Freeney coming in and just power rushing and getting to Beck.
Joe LaFege made the stop on that last play. And now field goal try from 28 yards out by Graham Gano. Second-year kicker out of Florida State. And this one is through the uprights and good. And so Washington quickly with 10 points on the board here in the first quarter. As they have the early lead, the Colts will receive the football when we return. Here at Lucas Oil Stadium, downtown Indianapolis, there you see the results of the first couple of series of this ball game for Washington. They put 10 points on the board, and there, of course, is the Citizens Energy Group scoring recap to take a look at, as that was a sustained drive that time by the Redskins. Graham Gano will kick off for Washington, and Devin Moore out of Wyoming and Cardinal Ritter High School here in Indianapolis will return the kick for the second time tonight. And a very strong kick by Gano, and this one's going to go right at the end of the end zone and bounce out, and it'll be a touchback coming out to the 20-yard line. So that'll give us an opportunity to take a break here. We'll be back with the third possession of the ball game for Indianapolis when we return. There you see the score here at Lucas Oil Stadium, where the Redskins lead the Colts. Well, we gave you the Aflac trivia question earlier. How many times have the Colts scored more than 500 points in a season? The answer is, Mark?
One time, wow, 2004. And that's well over 30 points a game. That was a juggernaut offense, I'm telling you. Peyton and that group of receivers, so a terrific job.
Peyton Manning had 49 touchdown passes in that season. And here's a run by Joseph Adai and a handoff from Curtis Painter for a couple as Brian Orakpo, a linebacker, brings him down for Washington. It will be a meager 2 or 3 yards on the play. It'll be second down and 7.
Well, still got some push. That time on the left side, as we mentioned, a couple of new guys, new faces in that lineup. Anthony Costanzo and Joe Wrights at that left tackle and left guard position, respectively. At least got to push off the ball for 3 yards.
Curtis Painter under center this time, a dive behind him. Quick sideline toss to Dallas Clark, and this one is not on target, a little bit behind Dallas. And to his right, couldn't pull it in. And so we've got a third down upcoming. The Indianapolis Colts share your love and passion for high school football and are proud to bring you MyIndianaFootball.com, presented by Herb Jones. Find great info about high school football across the state. That's MyIndianaFootball.com, presented by Herb Jones. Chris Brooks is down the ball game as one of the Colts wide receivers. As we said earlier, Reggie Wayne, Anthony Gonzalez, Austin Collie, all three of those guys scratched for tonight's contest. And here is Curtis scrambling. There's a flag that goes down. Curtis actually got it back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard past that. Ryan Kerrigan, his former Purdue teammate. I think they may have, Kerrigan may have been a freshman when he was a senior. Comes up and makes the stop, but we'll see what the flag's all about.
Yeah, Ryan Kerrigan, the #1 pick out of Purdue at the defensive end position, and they've got him a stand-up linebacker in the 3-4 set.
There is no foul for illegal hands to the faces that occurred against a receiver on a running play. The result of the play is 4th down.
So the Colts will be forced to punt it away for the second time tonight. And it'll be 4th down. So Indianapolis can't get much going here in the early going of this contest. Pat McAfee will be back in the game now. Terrence Austin is back deep for Washington. And Pat McAfee had a great 58-yard punt or 59-yard punt the first time, but there was a 30-yard return. Love to kick it that far again and kind of stop him immediately. Here's the boot. Beautiful spiral again, driving Austin back inside the 20-yard line. Austin tries to take it outside, stops and stutters, finds a way, flag comes down, and finally he's run out of bounds over there by Nate Triplett, a second-year player out of Minnesota.
Definitely a block in the back against the Redskins, so this one will be coming back. They tried to form the wall over on the far side, but a guilty Redskin on the play.
And so the flag will negate it.
During the return of the kick, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 56. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
10 yards for the point of the foul. And so I believe they're going to spot that football inside the 20-yard line. There you see Terrence Austin on the replay, run out of bounds, but that punt, 60 yards. So 2 terrific punts by Pat McAfee here in the early going.
Pat McAfee is definitely a weapon for this Colts ball club. He's done an outstanding job in holding field goals and extra points, but his punting ability has just been outstanding. He's a little different, different breed, as we all know, but he delivers when he punts that ball.
Well, it's time for this week's New York Line Protection Index update. The Protection Index measures how well the Colts offensive line is protecting the quarterback. And this week we're checking in with center Jeff Saturday, talking about the Colts rookies on the O-line.
The expectations that you have is they're going to make some misses. You know, there's no way that you can get up there with all the noise and the defensive shifts and moves, and you know, it's a lot easier on paper when nothing's moving and nobody's watching. And so some of that's just going to come with repetition. And I think the good thing is we got guys around them. You know, Dean can help mentor both of those guys. I've been around a long time of just encouraging them on, hey, look, this is what you got to listen for. Here's a key, you know, to focus in on so that you know this is going to happen. This is what you're looking for in the defense. And so those kind of little tidbits you can give those guys will help them adapt much quicker.
Well, the Colts taking that stance from Jeff Saturday. The Colts led the league in fewest sacks allowed at 16 last year, and Mark Anthony Costanzo and Ben Igelata should add depth to an already solid offensive line.
Well, they're going to be 2 very good players for this team, and they've got size, they're smart, and they're good, have a good work ethic, and as Jeff mentioned, they're going to learn from a couple of very good players in Jeff Saturday and Ryan Deem, and then you've got Peyton Manning tutoring these guys, so I think they're going to have a pretty quick learning curve here, and they'll be able to fit in awfully early.
The Colts led the NFL last season in the New York Life Protection Index. Here comes John Beck to work for the Redskins and dumps it off to Anthony Armstrong. Armstrong carries it across the 25 out near the 26, 27-yard line. Before he goes down, Cornelius Brown makes the stop on the play.
Well, it's a trademark play for Mike Shanahan. He loves the bootleg action. He loves to work that power eye, but the bootleg off of that has been awfully effective, and John Beck has really been sharp, and this entire Redskins team has been sharp this first quarter.
They really have been, as the clock is going to run out here at the end of period number 1, and Washington, much like St. Louis did last week in the early going, takes the first quarter lead, and then we'll go to the break here with the Washington Redskins leading the Indianapolis Colts 10-0 as the Colts fans look on. Welcome back to Lucas Oil Stadium. Roof open here tonight. Beautiful evening in Indianapolis. The score, of course, Redskins 10, Colts nothing thus far. Here we go. And once again, the Redskins trying to pick up a first down. Unable to do so there. We'll give you a shot here in our booth tonight. And we've got Mark Miles, the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Central Indiana Corporate Partnership. More importantly, he is the chairman of the board for the 2012 Super Bowl coming to Indianapolis. I know that's an exciting title.
It really is an exciting time, and it's a great seat to be in.
Mark, I know you've done so much work. We're going to watch plays here as we go along, too. We might talk a little bit about the plays that are going down the field, but while we have you here in the booth with us here in the second quarter, we do want to talk to you about the Super Bowl and all the preparations and all the things that you guys have planned as Roy Halou picks up the first down and then breaks a tackle and then goes down the sideline. And finally being chased down inside the 25-yard line. A huge play for Washington once again, and Melvin Bullock finally pulls it down. But Mark, as we mentioned, you guys are doing so many things here. Well, let's let Mark Herman go to work here, Mark.
Well, yeah, Roy Halou along the sideline looked like the Colts may just hem him in for a shorter gain. Still would have gotten the first down, but nobody finished the job, and he keeps his balance and then rumbles down the sidelines for the second big gainer here on the ground for the Washington Redskins.
And there, of course, Mike Shanahan, the coach of the Redskins, who obviously is liking what he is seeing from his ball club thus far tonight as they've got it inside the 25-yard line once again. And now we're having a timeout called here by Washington. So while we got that break, Mark, let's talk a little bit about the Super Bowl and what some of the things that you guys have planned, because I know this is going to be a tremendous, tremendous community operation.
It really is. It's just phenomenal the way the community is responding to this. We thought we might be able to use 8,000 volunteers. We had to cut it off at 12,500. The league can't believe that kind of civic mindedness here. I think one of the things that's going to be our signature besides this great facility is what we're calling the Super Bowl Village on Georgia Street, just right downtown, 3 blocks long, 10 days. We're going to start the Friday before the Super Bowl and have a Super Bowl party every night. So for most of that, it's pretty much focused on Hoosiers. In the last 4 days when our visitors come in, it'll be sort of extra special content for them.
Mark, there's so many things that are being done downtown, all the street construction that's going on, all those kinds of things. It's amazing what this city is doing right now to get ready for the Super Bowl.
Yep, but I did make it by game time tonight. I got to say, people get it. They realize that this is sort of short-term pain for long-term gain and are putting up with some inconvenience. This stuff is mostly things that we need to do anyway, would have happened anyway, but everything's sort of expedited so that we can put our best foot forward.
What about the NFL experience situation? You know, fans come in, and what kind of fun activities are they going to find that just really gets them right in the heat of the NFL action?
Well, as you know, the NFL experience is this gargantuan interactive football game park, and it's going to be in the convention center, the expanded convention center. And it's also going to run the 10 days along with the Super Bowl Village when it's open. So the Village is free. There's a little charge for families in the NFLX, and we think they're absolutely complimentary. I hope people from all over the state will come, and they will have one great football fun experience.
Indianapolis is home to Super Bowl 46. Get connected, IndianapolisSuperBowl.com. Might as well give a little plug there for that information. Here we go once again as Washington takes over at 1st and 10 at the Colts 23-yard line. John Beck at the controls quarterback-wise for the Washington Redskins, and this time Sean Draw, the running back rookie out of North Carolina, brought down by Eric Foster. Mark, I think it's awfully important, too. You guys have a lot of different challenges that you had to meet. What are some of the more challenging things you've had to deal with?
Well, I think most of it was done by the time we got the nod, by the time we were successful in our bidding process. The fact that we've got Lucas Oil Stadium, of course, is paramount in its importance. New airport, new JW Marriott Hotel, 1,000 rooms, which is almost essential to host a Super Bowl. All that infrastructure and the city's history of doing a great job of big events over the years was really the key.
Second down long. Beck scrambles out of trouble, and he does not escape. He is brought down in a nice play. Gary Brackett was involved there, and I think they may get him for a horse collar. Is that what they call it?
Yep, that's the in vogue call here for the which is unfortunate. Gary Brackett
15 automatic
just had
first
a
down.
marvelous play here as he tracks down Beck from behind, and I don't know. That's a pretty aggressive tackle, but I don't know if that falls into the horse collar situation. But
I don't think he really got it. I think he just got his shoulder pad.
yeah.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. I couldn't tell from that shot, but it looked initially like maybe he just gotten him by the shoulder pad, but I'm not sure.
Well, Mark, potentially you're going to have a couple 100,000 people probably coming to Indianapolis. Are we equipped hotel-wise, and can we be able to handle an influx of fans like that?
I think so. The league tells us to expect between 100 and 150,000 outside visitors. Of course, 70,000 or so will get in here. We got enough hotel rooms, and you know that means we're going to be using hotel rooms throughout central Indiana. Everybody wants to be downtown, and that's not going to be possible. So we're going to set up satellite sites around the perimeter in the metropolitan area that we think can be a lot of fun as well. It's a big job.
John Beck with a nice scramble there for the Redskins. Mark, you've been involved in so many different things here community-wise for Indianapolis, the Pan American Games, of course, professional tennis, all the things that you've done. Has this been one of the more difficult things you've dealt with, or has it just been, as usual in Indianapolis, everybody knows how to get it done?
You know, I hate to sound overconfident for the community because it's like in politics, you got to run scared. But I think the community is doing this pretty gracefully. It's multi-sport events in some respects are more complicated. This is bigger and a much bigger platform, obviously. The worldwide audience is unlike anything we've ever done before, so we're going to do it right. But I think we're equipped.
18 full-time staff members for this event?
We have a little over 18 people at the moment. That's pretty much the full complement, but as I said, 12,500 volunteers, including, for example, people all over the world that are now knitting these Super Bowl scars that we'll give to the volunteers as part of the uniform. It's a phenomenal story. Who would have thought people in South Africa and the UK and Canada and all over would want to contribute a scarf for our volunteers.
We've got a third down for the Redskins now as Beck lines his team up, throws the football, and a beautiful catch is made out there. It looked like Brandon Banks made the grab. Gerard Powers was there defensively. It is short of the first down, and more than likely we're going to see a field goal try here.
Well, nice job of holding off the downfield throw. Beck had to immediately go to the flat, was not very accurate, and the receiver had to go to the turf and was unable to make the turn to get the first down. So great job there by the defense as they held up in the red zone.
Graham Gano is going to come in to attempt the field goal here. Rock Sava is the man holding, or Sav Rock, I should say. And this will be a 27-yard attempt now by Gano, who knocks it through, and it now becomes a 13-0 ball game. Well, Mark, we appreciate very much your coming by, talking a little bit about the Super Bowl preparations. Obviously, this is going to be a grand show for Indianapolis.
Can't wait. Time's going to fly by, and we just can't say enough about how this community is responding.
Mark, thank you so much for joining us. Mark Miles here tonight with us as we'll go to break, as Indianapolis will receive the kickoff coming up. Papa John's is proud to be a sponsor and the official pizza of the Indianapolis Colts. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Graham Gano will kick off for the Washington Redskins. He's getting a lot of work here in the early portion of this ball game. Unfortunately, is right. This will be his third kickoff of the night as the Redskins now lead it 13-0. There's the Citizens Energy Group scoring recap that you can see. 27-yard field goal by Gano. And Devin Moore is getting ready to return the kickoff for the third time here this evening. Well, one of the things that Jim Caldwell said when we talked to him before the ball game tonight, in a brief conversation, he said, we're looking for improvement. That's the most important thing. We want to see our starters see a little more playing time tonight. We'll probably likely see them in this next drive, Mark, and that might be their evening's work.
You're right, and it is all about showing improvement and being able to gel and put to work, what you learned from the prior game. And so Colts have gotten off to another slow start here, but let's see if they can get something going here in a critical drive here in the second quarter.
Again, very deep in the end zone. Devin Moore, no chance to return. He would have had to come 9 yards out to the goal line before he got it out of the end zone, so he stays there. And they'll bring it out to the 20. It'll be 1st and 10 when the Colts take over. Curtis Painter has been the quarterback throughout this first half thus far. We have 10 minutes and 11 seconds to go. But the offense has sputtered as much as the defense has struggled.
Yeah, you're right, Don. And the early downs are the critical part for the Colts. They've got to do a better job on 1st and 2nd down because they're putting themselves in tough 3rd down situations, and then the Redskins are really getting after the passer. So it's critical for Curtis to get at least 5, 6, 7 yards here in a 1st down play and get this offense really kick-started. Got a couple of new offensive linemen. Kyle DeVan moves in at guard. I think Mike Pollock has moved to the center position. So these guys got to be ready to go.
Donald Brown has checked in as the new running back for the Colts. So they're bringing out some of the trainers and so on are bringing out the water for the Colts. I guess they didn't realize this was going to be a full-time out, but that's exactly what we have here. And we invite you to come here first and get there fast at Indianapolis International Airport. You'll find an array of schedule-friendly nonstops to your favorite destinations and some of the lowest airfares in the nation. Visit www.indianapolisairport.com before your next trip. Mark, I got to say, I've been to the airport probably 15, 20 times since they've changed things over from the old terminal to the new. I have never had to wait one time.
Oh no, it is a marvelous setup. I know the airport has gotten rave reviews around the country, and just another instance of where Indianapolis has done another great thing, and that airport is just super smooth getting in and out, and they just do a marvelous job.
Curtis Painter goes to work here for Indianapolis at the 20 of the Colts. Donald Brown now the running back alongside him in the backfield. And Curtis lets go, tries to hit Ty Smith, but a nice defensive play there by Byron Westbrook, a corner in his 3rd year out of Salisbury, and knocks the ball away at the last second.
Boy, Westbrook really hugged that route. As we see, Curtis Painter throwing it on time, but Taj Smith did not push up far enough, and the coverage was outstanding that time. No room to fit that ball in.
Pierre Garçon is the wide receiver at the top of your screen. There you see him. Brown, the running back alongside Painter in the shotgun formation. And Curtis changing things at the line of scrimmage. One of the things that Caldwell likes about Painter is his resiliency. He doesn't let one bad play get him down. This time the pass incomplete for Pierre Garçon. And that gets the murmuring crowd a little bit more murmuring.
Yeah, this, another 3rd and long situation. The Redskins are playing just a 2-deep safety, but they're man up underneath, so the Colts are not getting any separation off their routes, and therefore Painter's not being able to fit the ball in. And once again, 3rd and 10 is not an ideal length to try to convert here.
Curtis now with a running back on either side of him. And Painter checks his receivers, throws it. This time he's got a completion, and it's Chris Brooks who comes up with the reception. Kevin Barnes on the stop immediately, and it looks like it's going to be just shy of the 1st down marker. And that's going to force the Colts into a punting situation.
Well, a better job that time of separation. Chris Brooks gets a little room there, and a real well-thrown ball, just a little bit short of he needed to get to the 30-yard line. Jim Caldwell immediately sends out the punt team.
So Pat McAfee is back to punt it away here. Austin is back deep for Washington. McAfee has had some boomers here tonight, and he'll need another one here, although the returns have been pretty good for Washington. They did get tapped on a penalty the last time they tried to return. And Pat McAfee again gets a good leg into it, backs Austin up inside the 20-yard line to the 16. And then he heads back upfield, but this time the Colts are waiting for him, and another flag goes down. And it looks like a penalty against Washington as Chad Spann, the North Central High School product out of Indianapolis, makes the stop. And let's see what the flag is all about.
I think Byron Westbrook for the Redskins was guilty of blocking the back on Devin Moore maybe. And so, yeah, another the Redskins got to be able to pull off, and clearly a block in the back right there, right in front of the official. So Westbrook's going to argue it, and Devin Moore took a little exception to the call.
56-yard punt by Pat McAfee, who has also had a 58-yarder and a 60-yarder here tonight. So he's getting his work in this evening, and he is doing a magnificent job of driving Austin back deep each time he receives a punt.
There are 2 fouls in the play, both against the receiving team. Holding during the kick, receiving team number 34. This penalty is going to be refused. Holding, receiving team number Number 54. This penalty be accepted as it happened prior to the kick. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's Horatio Blades, a fifth-year linebacker out of Pittsburgh, who was guilty of the penalty that they did call. There you see Mike Shanahan, and there you see Peyton Manning talking to Curtis Painter and the quarterbacking crew as we go to a timeout. A little bit of a question to ask everybody here momentarily. We'll do that right after this first play. John Beck starts his team at the 8-yard line of Washington on a rollout to his left, a naked bootleg, and he carries the football and goes out of bounds just after he crosses that first down mark at the 18-yard line. Jacob Lacey ran him out. Well, tonight's Forum Credit Union question of the game is, since the Colts moved to Indianapolis in 1984, who has worn the number 18 uniform number? And we'll answer that question here momentarily, but let's go back to action now. Our monitors have gone out here. First and 10. Ball resting at the 18-yard line after Beck's scamper of 10 yards. This is Roy Halou, also getting a lot of work here, and he makes a very nice run for another first down, about an 11-yard pickup. Joe Lefege, the rookie from Rutgers, makes the stop for Indianapolis.
Well, Halou has been awfully impressive. Really good, just hard charging runner, does not give up, and he just keeps battling and just runs through tackles. He has a very low center of gravity, and he's just been a hard guy for the Colts defense to corral, and you mix that in with Beck's bootlegs and throwing outside the pocket. This has been a very functional and effective offense here in the first half.
Halou, a rookie out of Nebraska, one of their high draft picks, gets the call once again. This time he is gang tackled to the ground. Good defensive job by the Colts, led by Antonio Johnson, the 6'3", fifth-year defensive tackle out of Mississippi State. Well, tonight's Forum Credit Union question was, since the Colts moved to Indianapolis in 1984, who has worn the number 18 uniform number? Well, the answer is several players. Mike Pagel had it the longest, 27 games in 84-85. Then Browning Nagel, Ben Bronson, Bobby Olive, Nate Jaquette, and Peyton Manning, of course, from 1998 to the present. Question of the game brought to you by Forum Credit Union, your money, your voice. And here's Halou again, getting the call, carries it to the 35-yard line. This time he's brought down by Cornelius Brown, who's been in on several tackles tonight. Second-year player out of Texas El Paso for the Colts. And now we got third down and a long 4.
Yeah, Cornelius Brown has done a nice job. He came on the scene last year and had to fill in after that the injuries plagued the secondary, especially at that safety position. Cornelius Brown showing that he's got some toughness and delivered some hits at that nickel position here at the safety position. Dante
Stallworth is in the lineup now for Washington in a receiver spot. Here's Beck, throws it over the middle, and the catch is made. A nice grab made by Terrence Austin. Gerard Powers immediately on the tackle, but it's a first down.
Good accurate throw by Beck. Looked like the Colts were offsides. 3-step drop. You've got the slant route. Little tandem receiver set there. Outside release.
Defense number 92 was in the neutral zone at the snap. This penalty is declined. The result to the play, first down.
So Jerry Hughes was the guilty party for the flag, but it matters not. The first down picked up, and Washington maintains possession of the football, and another good drive here for the Redskins.
Mike Shanahan has been very high on John Beck, as has Kyle Shanahan, Mike's son, who is the offensive coordinator. They've really kind of earmarked John Beck to be the starter. So far he's lived up to that expectation.
And he throws this one away because he was getting all kinds of heat out there from a couple of Colts. Ricardo Matthews and Drake Nevis, I think, was in there too. Maybe Ali Agbu was the other man. but it was a nice defensive play by the Colts.
Yeah, that's excellent pressure by a couple of interior tackles. Usually you're getting that defensive ends up the field, but you mentioned those guys really getting some good pressure.
So now go ahead.
There's Kyle Shanahan, the son of Mike, who is the offensive coordinator, and they just love the smarts of John Beck. He's an accurate thrower. He's really not had a great opportunity in the league, and now is his great opportunity to be something here for the Redskins.
The delayed handoff to Sean Drawn results in not delayed tackling by the Colts. They put him down quickly at the 45-yard line, a loss of 2.
Good pressure there. Cavell Connor, I believe, was one of the first to get there and fill in. Good quick read off the draw play. So one of the few 3rd and long situations here. Let's see if the Colts can get the Redskins off the field here.
3rd down and 12. Halou is back in the backfield now for Washington along with John Beck. Man going in motion there is Fred Davis, the tight end. And here is Beck running out of traffic and then throws a perfect strike out there. A beautiful throw to Dante Stallworth for the 1st down.
Well, that's just a tremendous job by John Beck. The pocket caving in. He was able to elude that first rusher, buy a little time. He kept his eyes down the field. Just watch the pocket presence here. That's huge for a player. He steps up. The ball is almost stripped. Look at him keep the eyes down the field and locate the receiver right in the middle of the field for the 1st down conversion, and that's a real heartbreaker for the Colts defense.
Sean Drawn in the backfield once again as the running back. And Beck fakes the handoff to him, then wants to find him, then motions in downfield, then finally dumps it off. And this pass is in the hands of Logan Paulson, another tight end out of UCLA, who makes the catch and then is knocked out of bounds by Pat Angerer.
Not a lot of early pressure that time by the Colts front, maybe getting a little tired on this series. Beck had a lot of time, but fortunately pretty good coverage down the field for the Colts, and he just had to dump the football, but it did lead to a 1st down.
So the ball now at the 22, 1st and 10 Washington. The Redskins continue to move in this long drive thus far. This is the 10th play of the drive. And here is Beck rolling to his left. Another nice throw. Catch made out there by Davis, the tight end, and he gets brought down at the 15-yard line. Davis getting a lot of work the last couple of weeks because Chris Cooley, their outstanding tight end, has been on the sidelines with an injury. And they say that Davis is really starting to assert himself.
Yeah, that's a great point. Chris Cooley has been long one of their premier targets, but he is out of the lineup, and the Redskins like to use that tight end position. They've just been wearing this bootleg play out, and Beck has just been running it to perfection. He's made good decision after good decision. He's had a number of alternatives as he turns outside the pocket, and another accurate throw.
Here's a handoff, and this time running the football is Sean Drawn. There's a flag that goes down as the play comes to a close right around the 10-yard line.
Looked like a face mask, I believe, by the Colts, so this will take it half the distance. Unfortunate because a great job of rallying to the football, but it's a shame the face mask was pulled on the play. Watch the Colts flow to the ball carrier, but as the cutback.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, defense number 39. The penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal, automatic 1st down.
That's Cornelius Brown, who was credited with the face mask violation. And let's see what they do with the football. They're going to mark it just inside the 5.
Let's take another look as Cornelius Brown just reaches out. Looked like maybe the side of the helmet and the shoulder pad. So the back judge made the call. The official right on the play seemed to let it go. So not a great angle, and unfortunately for Brown, he was caught for the infraction.
Here's Halou getting up into the backfield, finally brought down just shy of the 5-yard line as David Caldwell comes up and makes the stop of the play. We're going to take another look at the face mask violation supposedly called against Cornelius Brown.
Well, he's right across the shoulder pad, yeah, and that, well, the neck kind of spins around, but I don't know.
I don't think he ever had a hold of the face mask.
You're
I really
right.
don't.
Yeah. So unfortunate break for the defense.
And of course, when you got the guy behind the play making the call because it looks that way, the accuracy can be questioned. Now here's a Beck maneuver, and he gets tackled in the backfield. A great defensive job by John Chick. I thought Chick actually had been declared scratch for this ball game tonight, but he played well last week against St. Louis.
He really did. He was one of the real bright spots at that defensive front. John Chick from up in the Canadian Football League and comes down here and shows he can play a little football in the defense.
Well, Meyer, the official supercenter of the Indianapolis Colts, will be hosting special Blue Friday events throughout the 2011 season. During every Blue Friday at Meyer, 24 fans will win 2 passes to a VIP tailgate party and 2 tickets to the game. For more information, visit Colts.com/Blue Friday. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, this 2-minute warning is brought to you by Cardio Check. Welcome back once again here to Lucas Oil Stadium, where the Colts trail the Washington Redskins. Well, Meyer, the official supercenter of the Indianapolis Colts, will be hosting special Blue Friday events throughout the 2011 season. During every Blue Friday at Meyer, 24 fans will win 2 passes to a VIP tailgate party and 2 tickets to the game. For more information, visit Colts.com/Blue Friday. Here's John Beck to Roy Halou, the running back, and he carries it across the 10-yard line. Brought down there after a gain of about 4, maybe 5 yards on the play. On the stop, Jerry Hughes, the defensive end, second-year player out of Texas Christian, last year's #1 draft pick for the Colts.
Good pursuit that time by Hughes. The Colts tried to hold off inside the 5, but he got there quickly.
So we have a timeout being called here, and we'll be back with more action here just inside the 2-minute warning in a moment. There you see Mark Shanahan, who has to be a pretty happy camper here in the first half with his ball club leading 13-0 and threatening to put 3 more on the board right here with a 26-yard field goal try by Graham Gano, and he knocks it through, and the Colts now trail it 16-0. So Washington comes up with more points as they continue to move the ball very effectively, perhaps not getting as many points as Shanahan would like out of some of these possessions, but they've been able to put 1 touchdown and a bunch of field goals on the board thus far. Yeah, they've been moving the ball extremely well, and it's been a balanced attack with the ground and the play-action passing. John Beck has been very sharp. Roy Halou has been extremely sharp, the young running back out in Nebraska. He's been a power runner, a tough runner, and he's breaking tackles, and so you've got to be very pleased at what you're seeing offensively. And of course, you go to the defensive side, they're pitching a shutout. So I think this is a very well-rounded effort by the Washington Redskins, and one more opportunity here for the Colts to get on the board in a 2-minute situation. So Curtis Painter has got to come alive here and start making some plays along with his offense. There you see the Citizens Energy Group scoring recap for the Washington Redskin drive that, again, ate up a lot of time on that clock. 15 plays, 7 minutes and 12 seconds. And while we were going through that series, the roof closed here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Apparently a threat of some lightning in the area, so they decided to close the roof here at Lucas Oil this evening. It's a beautiful night in Indianapolis. And here's the kick by Gano out of the end zone, right over the head of Devin Moore as he ran over to retrieve it, but with no chance to return that one. It'll come out to the 20-yard line on the touchback. And Mark, I tried to get to this last week about 15 times. It just didn't work out. But the kick-off team now, with the new rule kicking from the 35-yard line, the rest of the team has to have a body part of some kind on the 30-yard line before that kicker passes him to kick the football. Yeah, they can't get that big running start like they did prior to this new rule change, and I don't know if I'm liking this rule. The kickoff return is always one of the exciting plays of the game, and we're just seeing touchback after touchback, so I think the NFL's got to take a look at this rule and see if it really is doing the things that they had hoped. They're trying to clean up the game from a safety standpoint. They believe that the kick returns is one of the real difficulties in the game of football as far as injuries are concerned, but it's also a big part of the game of football. It is. I mean, field position is huge, and if it's a given that you're taking the ball at the 20-yard line, that's a big negative for your offense. Chances are a lot of offenses aren't going to march at 80 yards consistently during a ball game. Redskins got a deflection on Curtis Painter's pass to make it 2nd down and 10. And now the whistles blow as a flag comes down, and we got a procedure call.
Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty remains, 2nd down.
That's Kyle DeVan who gets nailed this time, and I believe that's the third procedure call of the night against the Colts, maybe 4.
Yeah, that's pure concentration, and you've got to be disciplined to sit in your stance, and it just puts a burden on your offense. Now you're 2nd and 15. You've not moved the ball very well at all.
And Donald Brown gets tackled in the backfield as great penetration by Brian Orakpo, who's having a very fine game tonight for Washington.
Orakpo is a big-time defensive end out of Texas, great pass rusher. That time he shows he can defend the run, and you know, Anthony Costanzo is going to face some awfully good players in this league, and Orakpo is right up there at the top of the defensive end position.
3rd down and 20 now for Indianapolis. Curtis Painter deep in his own territory. A quick little sideline pass to Garcon, who cuts it back inside, tries to find some running room, broke a tackle, and then was upended at the 20. So he does not pick up the 1st down. In fact, he picks up 10 of the lost yards, but that's all as McIntosh makes the stop.
Not much you can do on 3rd and long. Pierre Garcon is trying to make a play, and he's still working, trying to get upfield and kind of ride that wave of blockers, but just too many white jerseys around to stop him well short.
Well, let's take a look at the Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance defensive coverage of the game. And it comes on that last series by Washington as the defense stiffened and forced a field goal.
Nice job here, John Chick. Great penetration, just comes on the inside rush on the tackle. Trent Williams delivers the big sack. So a real nice effort there by the Colts defensive end.
And that's our Farm Bureau defensive coverage of the game. And now Pat McAfee gets off another beauty. Drives Terrence Austin deep back inside his 25-yard line. Austin streaks to the sideline, and this time gets out of bounds right around the 29, but another tremendous punt by McAfee as Mike McNeil on special teams, the tight end out of Nebraska, forces Terrence Austin to head to the sideline. So Pat McAfee continues to punt beautifully, a 57-yarder. He's averaging over 58 yards per punt in this football game.
Well, he's kind of been the offensive player of the game, defensive player of the game. Pat McAfee is really changing field position. That's a big time. He is just hitting rockets tonight. Really fun to watch.
John Beck, Roy Halou stay in there for Washington in the backfield for the Redskins. So both of these teams using a lot of first-teamers for a lot of this first half. Beck goes to work. Quick up the field pass. Nice catch made there by Fred Jones. Or Fred Davis, my apology. Breaks a tackle. Then the ball is picked up in a fumble. And finally they bring him down inside the 30-yard line. Now they're going to mark this play dead. And there's a flag down as well, a procedure call, I believe, and this may bring it all the way back. We'll see.
Well, let's see what the rule is here. There was at least 4 or 5 guys touched this football and had a chance to recover. The ball came loose. I'm not sure if that knee wasn't down.
Fumble inside of 2 minutes must be recovered by the fumbling player. That wasn't the case. But there was also illegal formation. Offense number 71 was not lined up on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
So a mistake by the Redskins will put the football back 5 yards farther back than its original position, and that's a big break for the Colts.
Yeah, it really is, and unfortunately the Colts were not able to make the recovery of the fumble, and the Redskins retained possession, but at least the penalty will negate any big gain that the Redskins came up with.
So the ball moves back to the 24-yard line, and the Redskins will have 1st and 15 now, back deep in their own territory once again. Jim Caldwell looking on there, cannot be very pleased with what he's seen again this evening. And the snap back, this time a little dump pass out there to Halou, the running back, and he can't find much running room and picks up maybe 3 as he gets it back up to the 28-yard line, where Adrian Moten, who had a lot of tackles last week for this Colt ball club, a rookie linebacker out of Maryland, makes the stop.
Redskins not in a big hurry here as the time ticking down. It looks like they may just let it run out to end this half.
A very productive half for Washington as the Redskins come up with 16 points, and they will head to the sidelines and to the locker room, I should say, with a terrific first half performance in which they now lead Indianapolis 16-0. And we await perhaps Jeffrey Gorman talking to Jim Caldwell here as they go to break. But the Colts with another struggle here in the first half of this ball game, as they just can't quite get their act together here offensively or defensively. So let's go down to Jeffrey Gorman with the AirTran Airlines halftime interview. You see head coach Jim Caldwell beginning his third season with the Indianapolis Colts. And like so many preseasons that have preceded this one, Mark, it's been a bit of a struggle because the Colts playing a lot of young players and just really not seeming to get into a rhythm here in the first two ball games up to this point.
Yeah, you're right, Don. Jim Caldwell has got to be scratching his head a little bit. I know they're getting good work during the week, but then when it comes to game time, they're keeping things simple. It's obvious, but one little breakdown here and there can really upset a play, and they're just not getting a total effort by the offense and defense, and therefore the drives are stalling out or they're giving up long drives defensively.
Graham Gano will kick off. New return man for the Colts. This is LaRon Moore, and he says, nope, I'm not going to bring this thing 9 yards deep in the end zone out. And so we'll come out to the 20-yard line on the touchback. Colts fans, be sure to visit the Bud Light tailgate tent across the street just north of the stadium for pregame fun and $3 Bud Lights. Make the Bud Light tent your place before the game. Well, the Colts offense on the field now with Dan Orlovsky. After Curtis Painter quarterbacked the first half, Orlovsky starts the second half. And some new receivers in the game. David Gilreath is now the wide out to the lower side of your screen here. We'll pick up the others as we go. Two wide receivers set this time, and a new running back in the game as well. And this call looks like Javaris James, the second-year player out of Miami, getting an opportunity in the backfield tonight. He'll carry for a couple of yards on the play. Dan Orlovsky, of course, is the new quarterback in the ball game. He saw action last week. There you see his vital statistics out of UConn.
Had a touchdown pass to Taj Smith last week, and the lone score for the Colts as far as touchdowns go. So Dan Orlovsky is really looking forward to this opportunity to maybe get this Colts moving, offense moving a little bit.
Javaris gets the call once again, gets it across the 25, picks up 2 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4 as Perry Riley makes the stop for Washington. Chris Brooks coming back in the game as a wide receiver. Checking to the sidelines is Mike McNeil, a tight end rookie out of Nebraska who saw extensive action last week, Mark, and looked pretty good.
Looked real sharp. He was really one of the bright spots on the offense. McNeil caught 2 or 3 passes for sizable gains, so good-looking prospect at that tight end position.
Taj Smith is also in there as one of the wideouts, along with Gilreath and Brooks. Here is Orlovsky, and he fires the ball to Taj Smith. He's got a first down. And one of the first downs of this ball game for the Colts. Reggie Jones makes the stop on the play, but a nice throw and catch that time with Orlovsky and Taj Smith.
Well, I like Orlovsky just getting out of the pocket, and then he gives himself a nice throwing lane to Taj Smith, who was able to beat the defender to get an opening. And yeah, that's a welcome sight to see a first down here for the Blues.
James in the backfield as the running back. Orlovsky works under center and hands to Javaris. He doesn't find much running room. Looked like he got hit just as he got to the line of scrimmage, but was still able to pick up a couple. As Kedrick Golston makes the stop, 6th-year player out of Georgia for Washington.
Well, good look at Javaris James, and he was quite the touchdown maker last year and did a nice job coming in when Joseph Adai and Donald Brown were suffering some injuries. So as we look at Curtis Painter, who has to be a little bit disappointed about his first half effort, but still nonetheless cheering on Dan Orlovsky right now.
And Orlovsky now with a 2nd down and about 8. Looks over the middle and flips it off to Javaris James out of the backfield. He picks up positive yards, about 5, as Horatio Blades makes the stop on the play. And it's going to bring up another 3rd down and short yardage situation.
That's a good effort by Orlovsky. He was able to scan the field and dump it. He knew right where his outlet release was. Javaris James, now you're in a good situation. You're 3rd and 2. The Colts, too many times in that first half, were 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12. Those are nearly impossible to pick up on a consistent basis.
Ball resting down at the 42-yard line, 42 and a half. Orlovsky again checks his reads and throws the pass complete. Tyson DeVree, a tight end out of Colorado, makes the reception. Anderson Russell on the stop, a second-year player from Ohio State for the Redskins, but another first down for the Colts, and they've got a drive going here.
Well, I like the calmness that time. Very poised in the pocket for Orlovsky. He knew what was coming uncovered, and that time DeVree was able to find a little bit of opening in that Redskins secondary.
And so we've got 1st and 10 now at the 44 of the Redskins. Javaris James in the backfield. And he tries the middle. There's not much there this time. And they're going to mark the football at about the 43. So Horatio Blades, nice stop as that play kind of unfolded a bit slowly.
Well, it's nice to see the Indianapolis Colts offense at least into Washington Redskins territory. We talked at the breakdown about we weren't sure if they did cross the midfield stripe, but therefore they've got a nice little drive working here, and you can sense a little bit of rhythm and a little bit of confidence by this offensive unit.
Ball resting down just shy of the 43-yard line. It'll be 2nd down. Orlovsky with James alongside of the backfield. Quick throw this time is batted up in the air and deflected. There is a flag that goes down. DJ Gomes came in, a 6-foot rookie out of Nebraska, the 5th-round draft pick this year for Washington. Incidentally, they had 12 draft picks, Mark, in a 7-round draft.
That's quite a stockpile of draft picks. My goodness.
And the flag appears to be against the Colts.
Illegal use of the hands to the face. Offense number 72. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Take a look at it again here as Jim Caldwell looks on.
Jeff Linkenbach, your right tackle, just got caught up under the face mask, as we can see here at the bottom of the screen. And Linkenbach is a guy that they really like at that offensive tackle position. Could be the heir apparent as the season goes on. You move Ryan Deem inside. Jeff Linkenbach, the young tackle out of Cincinnati, another free agent, has done a pretty good work, but that time an unfortunate penalty.
Well, 2nd and 19 now, back in Colts territory. Here's a dump off to Javaris James. Big running roll. Javaris, great cut there in the inside, then breaks to the outside. And the Colts have a first down as James comes up with a 19, maybe a 20-yard gain as Westbrook makes the stop.
I love the vision, I love the patience, and I love the ability of Javaris James to let that play happen. Watch him as he receives that screen pass. Good job by Orlovsky inviting the rush. Dumps it off, and then he immediately gets that first cut, which was huge. And then he was patient to get behind Mike Pollock to get another 5 yards for the first down.
Biggest running or biggest play tonight, gaining-wise, offensively for the Colts of 20 yards. Now the ball inside the 35. James gets the call, cuts to the outside, and takes it to the near sideline where he's down before he gets out of bounds. The gain, the short 2. And on the stop, Darian Scott, 5th-year defensive lineman out of Ohio State. American Family Insurance proudly sponsors the Indianapolis Colts in the Fan Zone. Dream big, win big. Visit amfam.com/Colts for your chance to win a VIP Colts experience. 2nd down now and long for the Colts. The ball resting at the 32-yard line of Washington. Best drive of the game for the Colts thus far. Dan Orlovsky is in the backfield at quarterback. Makes the handoff to Javaris James, then pumps it downfield. He was looking for McNeil, the tight end, but McNeil couldn't get there. Defending on the play was Reggie Jones, and he had his body between the football and McNeil.
Yeah, they just caught the Redskins in a bad defense. They were playing man-to-man defense, and watch Orlovsky take a shot here. And he went right down to the turf, but good coverage there on the tight end, McNeil. In play action, you'd rather be in a zone-type situation where everybody's looking in the backfield. You sneak somebody in behind, but that time the Redskins win the battle.
There you see the Huntington 3rd down conversions in this contest. This is a 3rd down and 8. So this will be a long one if the Colts are able to convert it. Orlovsky against the blitz, and he gets down. They were coming big time, and Lorenzo Alexander got to the quarterback, Dan Orlovsky, for a 4th down scenario, and now the kicking team comes in. I believe it'll be a field goal try here by Adam Vinatieri. And this will be a long one, Mark. This will be 55 yards.
Yeah, we saw Adam Vinatieri warming up last week, and he was consistently hitting from 57. Let's see if he can knock one home here from 55.
Here's the snap back. It's a good one. The kick is up, and there's plenty of leg into this one. If it's right through the uprights, and it is. And Adam Vinatieri finally puts the Colts on the scoreboard here tonight with a 55-yard field goal with 8 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. It is now Washington 16, Indianapolis 3, and the biggest positive of the night for the Colts. On the scoreboard here this evening, there you see the Citizens Energy Group scoring recap. An 11-play drive, the longest of the night for the Colts. And a 55-yard field goal from Adam Vinatieri gives Indianapolis its first score.
Well, the old man still continues to impress. Adam Vinatieri has not lost any strength in that leg and just powered it through. He could have probably made it from 60 on that attempt.
Here comes Pat McAfee with the kickoff. And he sails it deep into the end zone to Sean Drawn, who will not bring this one out. And it'll come out to the 20 on the touchback as the Indianapolis Colts are trailing Washington 16-3. Special guest coming up here when we return at Lucas Oil Stadium. And welcome back to Lucas Oil Stadium, where Indianapolis on the scoreboard for the first time this evening, trailing Washington right now 16-3. And we have a very special guest in our booth here tonight, the owner and CEO of the Indianapolis Colts, Jim Irsay. And Jim, thanks for joining us.
Well, it's good to be here. Good to be here.
Appreciate your being with us tonight. Mr. Irsay, talk a little bit, if you would, about this Indiana State Fair emergency fund that you got involved with as soon as this tragedy occurred.
Yeah, we just want to really get out front and try to inspire the community to give what everyone can. And it was important for the Colts and all our fans and players and everything to be part of the $65,000 check tonight. And as you know, it's difficult for the community. We were all shaken to the bone on this event last weekend. And so there's going to be a lot of different needs of the victims, and this will go towards helping that. So we are trying to raise awareness as well as really get some substantial funds to the people that need it.
Well, I think you did that with this very charitable situation that you've gotten involved with, Jim. Talk a little bit about tonight, and obviously a slow start for your ball club once again, but the one thing that I'm always interested in, Jim Caldwell he doesn't seem to get flustered by this situation because you're playing so many young guys, and that's been the Colts' primary goal in preseasons, to evaluate players.
Well, no question. I think Colt fans can remember, 20 years ago or something, where you're a young team, you're trying to prove you can compete with someone, you're trying to get confidence that you can win. We have, for the last decade or more, obviously come in and really tried to evaluate young players and see guys that are going to help us. So to me, it's exciting because this is where the Gary Brackett's, the Jeff Saturdays are found.
Well, and you seem to find one or two every year, and more than that in some years. And it's such, the development of this football team under the Polian system has just been phenomenal.
Well, no question. We love to draft great players with talent and character. We love to look at the rookie free agents that come out each year and really try to find guys that fit our mold and plug them in with the great players we have and salary cap restrictions. We know we have to find good young players to make a difference, and to do what we've done now for more than a decade. It's a great credit to the coaching staff and Bill and Chris Polian to be able to sustain the greatness.
Jim, I know it was a bit of a long summer for the owners and the players because of the collective bargaining agreement, but you came together at the end, which is always the most important factor, and you lose no time in that context.
Well, no question. We're so excited to be in this stadium. It was always my vision we would get this thing resolved. We would be in the stadium to get a 10-year deal. Colts fans know how much Jeff Saturday played such a great role on a national stage. in representing the Colts and the players and everything in such a noble way. And so it's really exciting. We knew it's our Super Bowl year with having it in February right here in this facility. And it really, to know now we have a 10-year deal that's going to be almost 35 years of not missing a game in the NFL because of a labor dispute. And this day and age, that's incredible.
We have a flag thrown on that last play, and what a hit as one of the Redskins loses a helmet on there. I believe we're going to go to a break here, but we've got an injured Redskin on the football field. We'll take a look at it here, Mark. That was a big-time hit.
Well, very scary. Yeah, that helmet goes flying, and immediately the training staff of the Redskins rushed out there. They're fearing a neck injury here by the player, so we'll get a good look at this. But hopefully everything is going to be okay with this. We'll see who it is.
Joe Lefebvre was the man returning on the play, and I think it looks like we were seeing Chris Neild, a nose tackle from West Virginia, but I'm not sure that number.
After the receiver caught the ball, illegal block in the back. Yeah. Receiving
I saw him moving his legs, so that was good to see.
Well, we are going to go to a commercial break here with Washington leading. Mr. Irsay, can you stay with us for another segment here when we come back? We'll be back with Jimmy Irsay as we continue here in the third quarter at Lucas Oil Stadium right after these messages. Welcome back once again here to Lucas Oil Stadium. Edgar Jones, a linebacker on special teams that came down and made that last hit, is the gentleman they're getting up, but they are getting him up, and he is going to be taken off the field. I believe he's going to go off under his own power, but it almost looked like he might have been knocked out, Mark.
That was a heck of a collision there, and a lot of concern by the Redskins staff and players, but very good sign here that Jones is able to walk on his own power over to the sidelines.
Well, Colts fans, be sure to visit the Bud Light tailgate tent across the street just north of the stadium for pregame fun and $3 Bud Lights. Make the Bud Light tent your place before the game. Well, if you've just joined us and you weren't with us before the break, we've got the CEO and owner of the Indianapolis Colts, Jim Irsay, with us. And Jim, one of the things that everybody's asking about right now is the status of Peyton Manning.
Well, of course, obviously, everyone is interested in knowing when he'll be back, and I think at this point, that's something that literally is day to day. You're not being cryptic or trying to hide anything on that. It's simply improvement every day. If he can be ready for the Houston opener, that's certainly what we're hoping for. But there's no guarantees on that. I think it's a fluid situation. The good news is he will be back, and we really don't feel it's going to threaten his career. But in this small time frame, obviously, in 2 weeks we'll be done with our preseason and getting ready for Houston. So it's a fluid situation. People know who we have on the roster with Curtis Painter and our other players, and we'll evaluate if there would be a need to have a veteran come in. That's a possibility. But the hope is that Peyton would be ready. But it's a day-to-day situation, but he is improving.
You had another good draft this year with Ben Adjolana and, of course, Costanzo, some of your top draft picks. And these two guys have picked up right away. Obviously look like they're going to be really good players in that offensive line. I knew you were trying to strengthen that area.
No doubt. I think these guys can be really a foundation for the offensive line for the next 8 years. And I know Bill hadn't chosen a lot of offensive linemen high in his career, and so to go 1-2 offensive line was a little bit different, but it was necessary. These guys are 300-plus pound guys, very athletic, and just really hard-working, tough guys, and then they fit our mold. So as Mark knows and you guys know, it's tough for rookies in this league being an offensive lineman. I remember, as great as Chris Hinton was for us, we did move him to guard, and he eventually moved out to tackle. But it's tough for the guys to come in and really dominate. But certainly with Freeney and Mathis, they're getting their baptism under fire in practice. So
we're going to see one more play here, and we're going to ask you to stick around for one more segment if you would, because I think we're going to go to timeout after this punt. And we will be back here at Lucas Oil Stadium. We've got 4:40 left here in the third quarter with the Colts trailing 16-3. We'll be back with more from Jim Irsay right after these messages. Well, Ball State University football versus Indiana University, Saturday, September the 3rd at Lucas Oil Stadium. Tickets are on sale at 888-BSU-TICKET or go to ballstatesports.com. Jim Irsay is alongside here tonight at Lucas Oil as the Colts right now trailing the Washington Redskins. Jim, Mark, I know, had a question for you.
Well, we were talking to Mark Miles earlier. Certainly the end of the year is kind of the nice crowning jewel for the city of Indianapolis. And just talk about how you feel as a host owner and how you feel about maybe having your host team playing here for the Super Bowl championship. How exciting that would be.
Well, it's really exciting, Mark. I think I've kind of grabbed the JFK line. Don't ask what the Super Bowl can do for you, but what you can do for the Super Bowl. Meaning, our community, really pulling together. I mean, this is about us showing the world what we can do as a city and state. And, of course, everyone's going to have fun. It's going to be an exciting time for us. But all of us are really kind of in the workhorse mode to really deliver and do it right. And so, obviously, I think the closest anyone's gotten was when the 49ers played up at Stanford. Maybe they didn't play in Candlestick Park for that Super Bowl. And so no one's done that. I think in Dallas some things didn't go as well. When there was kind of a strong urge that the home team team that was having the Super Bowl would want their team to be in it. But obviously, our goal every year is to be a world champion. But it starts with the little things, and it starts with the opener with Houston and how we practice every day and those things. So we'd love to be there. It's a long time before the snow flies and we have February temperatures, I know. But of course, it would be a dream come true. But at this point, we're just looking at Houston and hoping we can start off 1-0.
Jim, one other thing before we let you go here this evening. The biggest change rule-wise this year is the kickoff from the 35-yard line. How do you think it has affected the game thus far?
Well, I think it's something that we try to weigh safety versus excitement, and obviously things that make the game more exciting, the better. But safety's an issue we have to be concerned with. Football is such a great game, and it's such a game that brings out character and toughness and excitement and all those things. So I think we really do a lot of statistical analysis before we make rule changes, and we make them slowly. But I think looking at some of the safety issues, you have to weigh them as fast and as much as collisions are nowadays. You try to weigh both. So I think the rule will affect us some. Everyone likes to see the exciting kick return, but at the same time, I think safety has to be measured too.
Jim, there's no question this football team of yours is one that has, I think, set the standard now for the NFL. There's no question this franchise has become one of the best, if not the best, in the country. You've done a remarkable job making this franchise one of the best, and we just thank you, congratulate you for a wonderful job. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. We can't wait for the season to get started for real.
Well, thank you. We're really excited too. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much to Jim Irsay for joining us. We're going to go to break, and we'll be back with the remainder of this football game tonight here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Welcome back to Lucas Oil Stadium. There you see Dwight Freeney with Dallas Clark and Jeff Saturday. Let's take a look at tonight's Crunch of the Game. Mark, brought to you by Taco Bell.
Great defensive effort here. Drake Nevis, the draft pick out of LSU, has been so active these last two ball games. He has been a bright spot for the defense. Watch him defeat the block and then put the boom on Rex Grossman.
And so the Colts take over the football, and Dan Orlovsky, who has had the best drive of the night for this Colts offense, comes back into quarterback this team and throws this one a little bit behind the receiver, David Gilreath, and he just could not pull that one in. So the pass a little bit errant. It'll be second down and 10.
Orlovsky was really not able to set his feet. He was kind of backing out of there, and then the ball just kind of suffered and went low and behind Gilreath. So unfortunate there, but Dan's just got to be able to plant those feet and deliver the football.
Having a tough time getting the signals from the sidelines because I think his helmet radio went dead for a second. In the backfield is Delon Carter for the Colts. And he gets the handoff. And a nice run. Broke it to the outside beautifully. Nice stiff arm there. Really good run for DeLon Carter. And the fans love it. And DJ Gomes comes up with a tackle, but another drive that looks solid here for the Colts, at least the outset of it.
DeLon Carter through a lot of traffic. He takes the draw play and is able to kind of find a little seam, and then showed some shake and then some speed to turn the corner. So terrific job by DeLon Carter getting the first down.
I don't know why. I just love stiff arms.
Oh, I do too.
And Carter just had a beauty right there. First and 10. It's kind of a lost art in football. Not too many running backs really show that stiff arm all that much. This guy's a big, strong kid. Maybe not the tallest in the world, but he certainly does a great job in the strength department. He's only 5'9", a rookie out of Syracuse, drafted 4th by the Colts this year. And that time there's not much there as the ball is marked down at the 39. Kendrick Golston was into the tackle for the Redskins.
I think the Colts have kind of earmarked DeLon Carter as maybe a short yardage guy in his first opportunities as a Colts ball carrier, but there he showed that he can get out in space and make some things happen. So he was very productive at Syracuse, and as you mentioned, about 2 1/4, really a tough back to bring down.
Second down long. Orlovsky dumps it to Carter out of the backfield. He cuts it back up the middle of the field and almost picks up a first down. Just shy by a yard as Clint Oldenburg, a third-year player out of Colorado State, makes the stop for Washington. And we'll take a look at it again.
Nice job of catching the ball out of the backfield. That's something you've got to be able to do in this offense. He locates the football and then makes some people miss, and he knows where to go for that first down stick. Came up just a little bit short, though, but a great effort.
Third down and short now for the Colts. Carter stays in the backfield, and McNeil, the tight end, lines up as a fullback. Orlovsky under center. Smith, the lone wide receiver, to the low side of your screen, and here's Carter trying to find a first down yardage, and he found it and breaks a tackle. I don't know how he came out of that pile, but he comes out the front end, as Bill Maurer used to say.
Very impressive. DeLon Carter, very low center of gravity, and I think he got lost in the mix a little bit, but he's able to keep that forward push and then just bounces out, and he's not going to go down gingerly. He's going to come out, as you mentioned, on the other side of the pile.
So the ball just across the 42. Javaris James now is checked into the offensive lineup at running back for the Colts. And Indianapolis with another first down as Orlovsky continues to move this football team. Now in Redskins territory at the 42-yard line, but this time Orlovsky looked for a receiver on the far sideline, couldn't find anybody, and tried to spin his way back inside and got nailed by Darian Scott.
Well, he didn't have a good outlet on the play. All his receivers were marching down the field, so the pocket crumbled on Orlovsky pretty quickly as we take another look.
So we come to the end of the third quarter here at Lucas Oil Stadium, where tonight, right now, it's Washington leading the Colts 16-3. Back in a moment. Welcome back to Lucas Oil Stadium. Tired of defending what you pay for car insurance? With Geico, you don't have to. Go to geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO for your free rate quote and see how much you could save. Here's Dan Orlovsky. Dumps it off to DeLon Carter. This time there is nothing there as he gets upended right at the 49-yard line. Rob Jackson, third-year linebacker out of Kansas State, comes up and makes the tackle. And so it'll be third down and long now for Indianapolis.
I think the Redskins were a little bit kind of expecting that play, and a great burst by the linebacker to limit Carter to no gain. So third and a lot of yards here for the Colts.
Chris Brooks is in the lineup now as one of the three wide receivers in there. David Gilreath and Ty Smith are also wideouts in the contest right now for the Colts. Here's Orlovsky throwing deep downfield, looking for Ty Smith. Makes the catch! Yes, he steps out of bounds, but he is going to have a reception. What a grab by Ty Smith, who juggled it for a moment. Now they're having an officials discussion down there. Let's make sure that they say he had it under control as he went out of bounds.
Well, Ty Smith getting a nice jump on the receiver, or on the defensive back, and Orlovsky sees him. Looked like he was going to catch it cleanly, juggled it, but will he get both feet down again? That's what the officials are going to take a look at.
And they are going to review it. So there is a moment here where we can take it down to the sidelines, and I think Jeffrey Gorman will have a guest with him here in a moment. We'll take a look at the replay first. Oh, does he have control? Not there. Nope, he's not. I don't think it's going to be a completion.
The right foot was out while he was juggling, so.
All right, we'll sort it out when we come back. We have a timeout called here with 14:04 left in the fourth, and the Colts trailing Washington. Well, there you see both coaches. A coach's challenge by Mike Shanahan, and it looks, based on what we've seen from the replays, to be justified. And they're going to call it back.
After reviewing the play, the pass is incomplete. It'll be Indianapolis ball, 4th down and 17 at the 49-yard line. With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 14 minutes and 12 seconds. 14 minutes and 12 seconds. Thank you.
Watch Taj Smith's right foot as he finally hauls it in. That foot comes down out of bounds, and that's what the officials judged as an incomplete reception.
So the Colts will have to give up the football. 4th down at the 49 of Washington, and Niles Paul is back deep to receive as Travis Bolts, a 6'3" rookie out of Maryland, comes in to do the punting. Pat McAfee was tremendous in the first half for Indianapolis. Bolts gets this one off. It whirls down to the receiver, and he is able to take it out of bounds. But before he gets too far upfield, the Colts have got him corralled, and he goes out. And so we'll keep it here with 14:03 to go. And Indianapolis down 16-3. But, Mark, despite that, we've seen a much better performance in the second half overall by the Colts.
Yeah, clearly a spark offensively from Dan Orlovsky and DeLon Carter and others, Javaris James. So a little better movement from that offensive unit, and defensively they've tightened it up. Had a couple pressures on Rex Grossman and some nice defensive play by the interior line, Drake Nevis and others.
Rex Grossman at quarterback. Makes the handoff, what's the throw, fires the ball, really good catch. Leonard Hankerson, perfect pass by Grossman, who continues to impress with the Redskins. And we're going to go down the sideline. We've got a special guest, Pierre Garçon, along with Jeffrey Gorman.
Thanks, Don. I'm joined now by wide receiver Pierre Garçon. It's been a little different training camp, this one from years past, having to work with a couple of new quarterbacks in Mr. Painter and Mr. Orlovsky. So talk about it.
It's a tough battle right there, but both the guys are doing good. They're coming along and learning. You can see them progress through training camp, and they're just coming along doing well. Both of them are doing well in the game, and they have a good solid backup.
Compare this past training camp to maybe your rookie or second year and the things that you've noticed a difference in.
It's been a lot easier for me. Being in the system for 4 years now, it's been a lot. The game slowed down for me, and I've been able to just play instead of think a lot out there on the field.
Pierre, talk about this upcoming season. Colts loaded offensively. What you'd like to accomplish?
Oh man, we're gonna be a loaded offense. We're gonna do a lot of good things. We're hoping for a lot of good stuff, and it's gonna be a great year for us.
Pierre Garçon joins us on the sidelines. Don Fisher, back to you.
Thank you, Jeffrey, for that Toyota sideline report with Pierre Garçon. Now it's 2nd down and about 5 for Washington. Sean Drawn is back in the lineup as running back, and Rex Grossman fakes it to him, then bootlegs to his left, fires it downfield, another perfect strike. A really good throw again by Grossman as Mike Sellers, a tight end, makes the catch. David Caldwell makes the stop, but a big gainer for the Redskins, and they're starting to move once again for really the first time in the second half.
Yeah, and Rex Grossman's not going to give in as far as chasing that starting job. A couple of really good back-to-back throws here. And going to his left, had to kind of square up his shoulders to find the receiver, and threw a dart for another first down conversion. So Rex Grossman really getting into a groove here as the Redskins are marching down the field.
How often do you see two guys from the same high school in Indiana on an NFL roster? And you got two quarterbacks on this club from Bloomington South High School. Rex Grossman, who's in there right now, and Ben Chappell, who graduated from Indiana last year and signed as a free agent with this Redskins team just a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago. That pass is incomplete. It'll bring up 2nd down for Washington, but I don't know that I've ever heard of that. The two quarterbacks from the same high school on the same roster.
Yeah, that is an unbelievable deal as we see Ben Chappell there. And I got to meet Ben over the Christmas holiday, and really an enjoyable, bright young guy. And you hope he finds a spot on this roster. The Redskins also traded for Kellen Clemens from the Jets, so it's a little bit crowded.
There's a pick. Colts get one from Adrian Moten, the linebacker, who comes up with an interception. If there's been a knock on Rex Grossman through his pro career, it's been the fact that sometimes he makes the wrong decision, and that time he did.
Adrian Moten got a good read on Rex Grossman's eyes, and he has been a real bright spot for the defense.
There you see the score as the Colts will take over the football when we return, as you see the pickoff there by Adrian Moten, who continues to impress for the Colts. Redskins on top of the Colts here as we're into the fourth quarter of tonight's preseason football game between Indianapolis and the Washington Redskins. Wick Sugar Cream Pie is the official pie of the Indianapolis Colts. Make sure you pick up a Wick Sugar Cream Pie today. Well, it's not sugar cream pie, but Mark Herman is eating a hot dog. First thing we've had in the booth to eat tonight.
I know it. It tastes awfully good. These are great hot dogs.
We're going to have a guest coming up here right after this next play. LaRon Moore and Marshall Williams are in the lineup for the Colts. And here's a fake handoff, and then the throw downfield. This one is off the mark. It was intended for Marshall Williams as he just checked into the game. Let's go to the sidelines with the Toyota Sideline Report with Jeffrey Gorman.
Thanks, guys. Joining me now, defensive captain Gary Brackett. Gary, not putting you on the spot, but a couple of big plays in the first quarter, very un-Colts-like.
Yeah, very. We definitely don't want to give up those big plays, so we definitely have to tackle better. I think that's what we say going into the locker room. We want to go out here and tackle better, have a little bit more energy.
Well, the preseason is definitely time to figure that things out. Talk about this past training camp that ended recently at Anderson University.
I think we had a good training camp. You know, we got some young guys acclimated to how we do things as a team. So now it's just about preseason, putting everything together, showing who can go out there and help us win during the regular season.
Lastly, some veterans now on this roster from other teams in the past few years. Jamal Anderson, Tommy Harris, Ernie Sims, Tyler Brayton. You like the mix?
I do. I think those guys bring a ton of experience. Those guys are proven. They play well in this league, so hope they can make some big plays for us.
Gary Brackett joins us down here on the sidelines. Don Fisher, back to you.
Thank you, Jeffrey, as the Colts now have a 3rd down and 8. That was our Toyota Sideline Report with Jeffrey Gorman, Gary Brackett alongside. And now the Colts on a big 3rd down and long. Dan Orlovsky in the backfield. Darren Evans, one of those Indianapolis products from Warren Central High School, is back there with him. And here is Orlovsky looking downfield. Went to the sideline pass. He was looking for LaRon Moore, but it was well overthrown. Then it brings up 4th down. The Colts will be forced to punt it away.
Well, unfortunately, the pass protection broke down a couple times in that series, and Dan Orlovsky was not able to really put his best throw out there. So a quick 3 and out here for the Colts offense, and really they were not able to recapture that little bit of offensive momentum that they had gotten earlier in this quarter.
Travis Baltz with the punt here, and it's a good one. Niles Paul, the reception, a draft pick out of Nebraska for the Washington Redskins. On the reception, we do have a flag that goes down on the play, so we'll wait to see what that's all about. Paul hanging onto the football. Adrian Moten was down on special teams to make the stop. Moten his name has been called quite a bit in the last 2 ball games, Mark. And good. Obviously that last one was a really good one.
An eligible member of the kicking team downfield prior to the kick, number 57. Washington has opted to enforce the penalty at the end of the kick, 5 yards, 1st down.
And we were stating that Moten obviously had done a good job with that last interception as well. So we've got a break coming up here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Colts still trail Washington here in the 2nd preseason game. Well, the drive of the game is presented by Tom Wood Lexus, who reminds you to test drive a Lexus on East 96th Street.
Well, Dan Orlovsky, a couple of nice 3rd down conversions, one to Taj Smith, and then the screen pass to Javaris James, an excellent piece of running for a nice gain and another 1st down. And then
we're going to go back to it here in a moment. Here's Grossman firing it downfield. Another good strike that time to Leonard Hankerson, a wide receiver from Miami. We'll finish the Tom Wood drive of the game here.
Yeah, here's the screen pass to James, and then Subsequently, Adam Vinatieri blasts a 55-yarder that was right down the pipe for the score.
Adam, of course, celebrating there with Pat McAfee and Mike McNeil. Obviously a huge kick off the leg of Vinatieri, and it puts Indianapolis on the scoreboard for the only time tonight. Keelan Williams now in the game as the running back as Grossman hands it to him. Tries to cut outside. Great pursuit there by the Colts that time. A flag goes down late. Chick was involved, so was Taron Johnson on the tackle.
Holding, offense, number 58. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Eric Cook, an offensive lineman, first-year player out of New Mexico, the guilty party for Washington, so that'll cost them some yardage, and they'll be back in their own territory now. Ball marked down at the 40-yard line. Haven't been too many penalties again tonight, Mark. It's actually been, they were early. There were several penalties in the early going, a couple of procedure calls against the Colts, but haven't seen a lot lately.
Pretty cleanly played by both ball clubs, so that's always a good sign. You don't want a lot of sloppy play, and it's done a nice job for both of them.
Rex Grossman goes back and throws a little dump pass out here in the flat to the running back out of the backfield, Keelan Williams. He is upended by Terrence Johnson, who does a nice job there. Johnson, the first-year player out of California. That's California, Pennsylvania, his college, and we've got an injured player on the sideline. This has to be one of the Redskins since their trainers are coming from the far sideline over. So we do have a injury on the field right now. A timeout has been called. And it looks like Keelan Williams, the running back, is the injured Washington Redskin. We'll see the hit once again. He goes down hard. When the Colts win, you win at all Indianapolis area Denny's. Come to Denny's the day after a Colts win from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and get a free Colts fan slam with the purchase of a beverage. Let's go down for a Toyota sideline report from Jeffrey Gorman with Dallas Clark.
Well, thanks, guys. Joining me now, tight end Dallas Clark. I got to say, I think I speak on behalf of about 65,000 people. It's good to see you catching the football again.
It felt good. It was, we got a little more action tonight, and didn't move the ball as we wanted to, as we were hoping to. But like last week, we'll find the good things, correct the bad things, and keep getting better.
Talk a little bit about training camp and the progress made.
It's been good. It's you'd like to see it carry over more on the game, but we've had some good practices, and I don't know why we've been kind of shooting ourselves in the foot with penalties, but some guys, some good individual performances, which the coaches are happy to see, and the veterans are getting comfortable, but we'd like to get a couple more drives there earlier in the game.
Dallas, individually, the progress that you've made with Curtis Painter and Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, they're great. They're doing a good job. They got a lot on their plate. Obviously, trying to fill the shoes of Peyton, but they're keeping it within themselves and playing their game and doing what they know how to do. What they do best, and it's been good. It's just just unfortunately it hasn't carried over in the games, but we'll keep improving on that.
Let's quickly talk like you're a fan. Do you like this football team on both sides of the ball?
Always. We got a great group of guys. It's fun to be a teammate on this team. We got a lot of guys that work hard. Great coaching staff, great owner, everything. I mean, just all the way down the line. It's just it's a top-notch, first-class organization. So and I think fans have a lot to cheer for, and we just got a couple more weeks to keep tightening her down and keep getting better.
Well, Don Fisher, he's back. Dallas Clark joining me on the sidelines. Back to you guys.
And one of the reasons why this is one of the better franchises in the league, character people like Dallas Clark. Here's the kick on the punt, and a fair catch called for by David Gilreath, and the Colts will take over inside their own 15-yard line as play resumes here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Mark, we're middle part of the fourth quarter. The Colts are down 16-3. There has been no scoring in the second half by Washington, so the defense has done its job. The offense had a nice drive there, got a 55-yard field goal out of Vinatieri, but they need to get it going a little bit stronger if they're to get back in this one, and got to do it quickly.
Yeah, they've got a long field to go here, but you've just got to take it first down by first down. Everybody has got to do their job, and this is an important time for a lot of these young players. You've got to continue to compete, and guys have got to continue to try to make plays here.
Darren Evans in the backfield gets the call, and the Virginia Tech product piles his way off the left side for 4 or 5 yards. Chris Neal, a nose tackle from West Virginia, 7th-round draft pick of the Redskins, makes the stop, and it'll be 2nd down at about 6.
Well, the Colts have no shortage of good young running backs. We saw DeLon Carter and Javaris James, now Darren Evans and Chad Spann last week, Devin Moore. So this is a good race to see who's going to kind of fill up the roster spot at the running back position. Marshall Williams and LaRon Moore, the wide receivers. Williams goes a bit in motion there as he gets moved by quarterback Dan Orlovsky. Here's Darren Evans once again, carries it up the middle, off the right side, and picks up a couple of more, but it's going to bring up 3rd down in medium distance here with Kendrick Golson making a stop. Tonight's 3rd down conversions are brought to you by Huntington. And there you take a look. The Colts have converted just 2 of 9 thus far in this ball game. I think they were on the same drive of the game. You're right. Other than that, it's been a real struggle, and that's why the Colts only have 3 points to show. They're just not able to continue to move the chains, and therefore the punter has been kind of the key guy for the Colts tonight. 3rd down at about 5 now. Joe Horn is coming as a wide receiver for Indianapolis. Dan Orlovsky drops back into the shotgun. Here comes pressure. Flag on the play. A little dump off pass, but I think this might be an offsides call against Washington. It looked like the defensive end on the left side got a quick start. And this could be a 1st down for the Colts as it was 3rd and 4, so looked like unabated.
Offside, defense number 50 in the neutral zone at the snap. This 5-yard penalty will result in a 1st down.
Yeah, they definitely are going to call a penalty against the Washington Redskins' Rob Jackson, who came blitzing in there that time but had a bit of a head start on the snap. And so it gives Indianapolis a 1st down, the football at the 22-yard line, and the Colts drive stays alive. And Dan Orlovsky has taken some punishment tonight. He was hit on that play, and he has been hit on several plays, but he has stood in there and delivered the football pretty well. And Orlovsky hands it to Darren Evans. Evans pounds his way up the middle and keeps moving that pile forward despite being tackled by 4 or 5 players. Perry Riley was involved in the initial hit, but the gain is a decent one under those circumstances. The ball now resting just shy of the 28. It'll be 2nd down at about 4. And Darren Evans looks very comfortable running that play. It's just a zone block, and he's able to get up into the mix and is able to push the pile. He's a big, strong runner, and he put up some serious numbers at Virginia Tech, and you can see why. He is a capable running back. 2nd down and 4. Orlovsky looks to throw it. Fires deep downfield looking for Williams, and it's going to be picked off. A very nice interception by Brandon Thompson, a rookie out of Boise State, a 7th-round draft pick of the Redskins, and he picks Orlovsky. That's the first turnover by the Colts in this football game. Slightly underthrown here as Dan Orlovsky tries to go up top to Marshall Williams. Just couldn't get enough on it. Marshall Williams maybe had a half a step, but a heck of a play by the defense. And so Washington will take over the football. There you see Orlovsky, and not happy as he heads to the sideline, and the Redskins. Rex Grossman is, check it out. Kellen Clemens is the 3rd quarterback used, and the first time he's been in the ball game tonight for Washington. He is a 6th-year player out of Oregon. And he'll hand the football off. It'll go to Sean Drawn. And Drawn tries to go up the middle and is unable to catch much yardage. Kerry Neal on the stop for the Colts. Indiana University Health is proud to support the strength of the Indianapolis community through its partnership with the Indianapolis Colts. IU Health expert physicians, nationally ranked care. Discover the strength at iuhealth.org. There is Peyton Manning on the sideline, and Anthony Gonzalez is alongside him as the Colts find themselves back on defense after a pick by Washington. And Kellen Clemens now is the quarterback. Hands it off to Drawn. Drawn tries to cut it back inside, breaks one tackle. Nice job by Drawn on the run. Another missed tackle or so out there, and the Colts have struggled with that a little bit here in the first 2 games. They really have, Don. They've been in position, but they've not finished the play, and they've enabled Washington Redskin running backs to get a lot of yards after that first contact, and that's not what you want to see as a defender. So they've got to come under control just a touch,
and be able to really finish the job. And that's unfortunate because that should have been a 2-yard gain, and then now it's just 3rd and 1.
Ball resting just shy of the 38 in Redskins territory. Clemens sets his team as he's under center. Drawn is the running back. And he fakes the handoff, rolls to his right, has all kinds of room. He'll pick up the first down easily as he cuts back upfield and carries it across the 45-yard line. Sliding down there is Chris Colasanti, the linebacker, in the ball game now, is there to make sure he stays down at the 46. It'll be 1st and 10 Washington.
Yeah, and the Colts are such a fast-flowing defense that bootleg has just been there all night long, and the defensive ends have just not stayed home, and therefore Clemens in this case was able to get outside the pocket and just find some running room for the first down.
Sean Drawn has got a lot of work in this football game tonight for Washington. And he's the running back who gets the call once again. This time he gets met, but he breaks the tackle. Terrence Johnson was right there to bring him down, but lost the leverage on him, and then Kevin Thomas came in and did finish him off. Thomas's first time we've called his name tonight, but he was really a factor last week.
Here we get another look, and the Johnson right there, but boy, you talk about throwing away to the tackler. Drawn just discarded Johnson right there on the spot.
And still doesn't pick up much yardage because of Kevin Thomas's hit from behind. So the ball now spotted at the 47. And we're going to go down to the sideline, and Jeffrey Gorman with the Toyota sideline report.
Thanks, Don Fisher. I'm joined now by quarterback Jacob Lacey. Jacob, talk about the defensive backfield of this team, the new guys, the veterans, a good mix.
I think we got a good mix of people in our defensive backfield. We got Kevin Thomas who's coming on pretty strong. He's out there making a lot of plays, and Mike Rucker. They're guys that have come along real quick in the short time that they've had in training camp, and it's all about getting experience, as much experience as we can get in that short amount of time that they had.
Well, you guys are certainly showing that. Jacob Lacey, a veteran in the defensive backfield for the Colts, joins us. Don Fisher, back to you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. A nice job by the defense that time as they took a play that headed to the outside and came up very quickly. The pursuit by the Colts is so fast, Mark. You can see it at times. If they don't miss tackles, they bring the guy down, and it's impressive, but missed tackles have been a problem.
Yeah, and one thing you don't want to do is go horizontally against this Colts defense. That is the one strength that they have, that they can really run to the football, and they've been hurt taking just blockers on one-on-one, but if you go anywhere but up the field, you're going to be in trouble.
Clemens again drops back. This time he tries to dump it off to Sean Drawn and is unable to do so. Threw it a little bit wide and low. So that'll bring up a 4th down scenario and the punt coming up for Washington. For every touchdown the Colts score during the 2011 football season, Taco Bell will donate $100 to various local boys and girls clubs of Central Indiana. Since 2005, the Colts have scored 267 touchdowns, which means that Taco Bell has donated $26,000.
Illegal snap by the offense. Made the snap prior to officials being set. 5-yard penalty. It will remain 4th down.
We were saying since 2005 the Colts have scored 267 touchdowns, which means that Taco Bell has now donated $26,700 to local boys and girls clubs. Go Colts. And now the punt. This time it is Sav Rocca booting the ball away. This is Gilreath making the fair catch at the 10-yard line. And so Indianapolis will take over there 1st and 10 with 3:11 left in this football game. And obviously right now it looks like the Colts comeback has been cut short, Mark, but they have looked better in the second half. There's just no question.
Yeah, no question. They've made some strides, and they've had some tough field position these last couple possessions, but you've seen some glimpses of some decent offensive play, some pretty good runs by the young running backs, and so there's a measure of improvement that Coach Caldwell has seen, but certainly not a finished product by any means. But at least some of the young guys are starting to get a better feel for the tempo of the game, and you've not seen any real glaring missed blocks by the offense, but just not cashing in enough.
Chad Spann is now the running back behind Orlovsky. And Dan Orlovsky throws it out in the flat. Nice catch made there. And at the 22-yard line, the ball gets loose, but I think they're going to rule it down. as Byron Westbrook makes the stop on the play. The receiver was Gilreath, and he just didn't quite hang on like he needed to, but they get away with it, and the football is down at the 22-yard line where the Colts have a 1st and 10.
This is always a good opportunity in a 2-minute situation where you've got to pick up the tempo just a little bit, but it's a nice first down to get out of the territory a little bit.
Chad Spann runs it up the middle, and he's going to pick up about 4, maybe 5 yards, as Doug Worthington is the man making the stop out of Ohio State, first-year player for Washington, and it'll be 2nd down and 6. Orlovsky working the hurry-up offense here. Spann puts on a nice block as he gets rid of the football. DeVree tries to pull it in, the tight end, unable to do so. Spann had the block out there. Orlovsky, however, got hit again just after he released the football. And so with the incomplete pass, clock is stopped. The ball comes back to the 26. Take a look at the replay on this last play.
Yeah, part of a running back's job is to protect the passer, and that time Chad Spann was able to hold off, but just the other guy came in and gave Orlovsky a pretty good shot in the hip. So he's been a little battle tested tonight.
3rd down and 6 now. Here's a dump pass over the middle, and actually Orlovsky's arm looked like it got hit, and he went down again. Incomplete pass. And we're down to 2:06. That play taking only 3 seconds, so they'll be punting it away before we come to the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, unfortunate again. You just didn't get much of an opportunity as the pocket just really collapses. Orlovsky tries to get rid of the football, but his emotion was definitely deterred, and he goes to the turf once again.
So Travis Baltz is in the game to punt it away. Niles Paul will receive it for Washington. Another beautiful punt. Punting has been a real strong part of the Colts' attempts here tonight. And this is Paul. The returns, however, have been a little better, and I'm sure that special teams coaching would like at this point. Mike Newton is there to make the stop. And this 2-minute warning is brought to you by CardioCheck, the 2-minute home cholesterol test system. CardioCheck, 2 minutes could save you a lifetime. Is your cholesterol in check?
Telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Well, back here at Lucas Oil Stadium, the young ladies cheering on the Colts here tonight. And right now, we've got a new quarterback in there for Washington. Ben Chappell getting an opportunity here tonight as he hands the ball off to Sean Drawn. And Drawn comes up with about a 6-yard gain out to the 46-yard line. John Gill makes the defensive stop, a first-year player out of Northwestern. There you take a look at Ben Chappell. Graduated from IU this past spring, and one of the really fine young men that's ever come out of that school's program. Terrific young gentleman and a really good quarterback. He wasn't maybe as athletic as some guys at IU, but he was one of the best passers the school has seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, he put up some really excellent numbers, and as a 5th-year senior, was played hurt a lot of the time, but really delivered football. And you're right, he was as impressive as anybody who's played the position there.
Puts his knee down there as he takes the knee on 2nd down. And the one thing about Ben Chappell, he was as tough as they come. I mean, he may have been hurt a lot, but he came back and played almost every week. I don't think he hardly missed a snap. So one of the better football players that Indiana's produced in recent years. Well, fans, go to Colts.com/WheatiesFuel and enter the Thrill of the Win contest for a chance to win sideline seats at an upcoming Colts home game. Winners will have the chance to win Wheaties Fuel for a year and win a box of Wheaties Fuel for a designated row in the stadium. Prepare to win with Wheaties Fuel. And that's probably the last play of the game as Ben Chappell takes the knee once again. There you got a shot of Rex Grossman is, again, one of the more unusual scenarios on an NFL roster. You've got 2 kids from the same high school football program, Bloomington South High School, on the field tonight. There you see Rex Grossman, number 8, and Ben Chappell, of course, number 2. There you see Jim Caldwell and Mike Shanahan shaking hands as this game has come to conclusion mark, or it will here in 2 seconds as the clock finally runs out. And Washington wins preseason game number 2. They're 2-0. They beat Pittsburgh last week, and of course the Colts now are 0-2.
Yeah, the Redskins coming off a 6-10 year last year, so they're really trying to find wins and to build some confidence. And So I'm sure Mike Shanahan is pretty pleased at the way his team has responded these first 2 ball games. And on the other side, Jim Caldwell maybe has some concerns here from these first 2 ball games. The Colts have just not really gotten anything going in offensive and defensive terms, and that will come. But I think he was expecting to maybe see a little more progress in tonight's ball game, but it just wasn't there. And once again, you know, the Colts were shut out of the end zone. They get the long field goal by Vinatieri, and that was it.
Well, when you talk about not being productive, Washington tonight had 411 offensive yards. The Colts had 150.
Yeah,
now
ouch.
That tells you that's a problem.
That's a problem. When you can't even break 200 yards in total offense, and you know, third down conversions were far down, and yards per carry and completion percentage, all those negatives entered into that equation. And then defensively, a team getting over 400 yards is a definite negative for you. So some real opportunities to learn from that. But, you know, some red flags are starting to ease up a little bit, that you've got to start making some adjustments and start playing a little better football.
I think the one thing that Jim Caldwell was looking for tonight was improvement in a number of areas, and perhaps in a few they saw some. But I don't think in the big area of the quarterback situation did they see what they really wanted, even though, you know, they're trying to play that off a little bit as not being that big a deal at this juncture, and it probably isn't. Even this is still preseason. We're not talking about the regular season getting underway, but with the problems that Peyton Manning has dealt with and not being able to practice up to this point, and we don't know when he's going to practice for the first time or when he'll be ready. Now we're looking at a situation where that quarterback position now becomes critical.
Yeah, I mean, a guy out on the field may be the starter opening day, and so that may unnerve a few Colts fans out there. And the coaching staff still claims confidence in what they're seeing on the practice field. But, you know, as I think one of the Colts players mentioned, it's not translating to the game field. And when the lights are on, you've got to perform, and you've got to be efficient at that position. And I know it's just not all the quarterback. Everybody enters into that equation. So I think everybody's got to bring their level of play up a little bit to help that position. But those guys have got to deliver when they need to move the football.
Well, we'll be coming back here in just a couple of minutes with final thoughts on tonight's telecast right after these messages.